What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to Friday's episode. So please go back and tune in to Monday through Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday were our topics. Mondays was how Revo and the Sudan Anonymous or Anonymous Sudan? I think Anonymous Sudan. Maybe partnering up to attack the SWIFT international banking system or banking software for transfer of funds and things of that nature. So definitely tune in for that one. It may or may not have happened. They just announced they're going to do some damage. So this Friday. So we'll see next week if that's happened. Also on Tuesday, we talk about the U.S. government being impacted by a global cyber attack. So the cyber attack was not necessarily meant to hit the U.S. government, but it has. So we kind of talk about that and the implications and how they probably didn't mean to do that. So, or if they did, they shouldn't have. And then on Wednesday, we have a discussion about the AI Act, right? Did I call it the right thing? So the EU has an AI Act that they signed the legislation that will probably impact the world, Craig. So definitely tune in for that one. And just how GDPR impact all of us, the AI Act will probably impact US companies as well. So definitely tune in for that. But now this is everything else, right? So if you came here for cyber, you're going to get a lot. You don't get any of that. You're going to get a lot of something else. So we talk about movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So without further ado, Shannon, how was your week?
So before I get into that, I just want to say, I hope the audience is getting these references we always throw out there, man, because we throwing them out. We throwing gold out there, man. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I think they do. There's one listener who caught Eddie Murphy reference the other week.
Yeah, I didn't even need to put out there. I didn't even think about it. Well, Eddie Murphy Raw was my favorite comedy set ever. Yeah. I had it on cassette tape. I used to listen to it. I was way too young to be listening to that. I should be a lot funnier. Like, how am I not funnier? I was listening to that in my formative years. But yeah, through one of those references, I was not even thinking about it, and he picked up on it.
That's my hope, is that they get them right, like, you know. But my week was good, man. I can't complain. Been doing a lot of playing of Horizon Forbidden West. I don't know how many hours I got in, but it's got to be like probably close to 30 at this point. Like, I'm putting a lot of time in. I don't stay on it as long as I did with the first one. So it's a lot of what was happening in the first one, so it can come off repetitive at times. And again, I'm a side mission guy, right? So like I see a green exclamation, I'm like, oh, it's a side mission. Let me go off over there. I was on the main quest, but let me go do that. Oh, let me go do that now. And then, you know, so I want to do it all, you know what I mean? But been playing a lot of that. What did I watch this week? So I started watching this TV series based on a true story on Peacock. It's got Kaylee Cuoco. Is that how you say her name? From Big Bang Theory. Penny, I think, was her name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I only know character names. I don't know people's real names.
Yeah, I think it was Penny, but I never watched it, so I'm guessing at the name. But yeah, it's so the premise of it is that she's a real estate agent, a struggling real estate agent. Her husband is a tennis instructor at a country club, and he gets demoted. And she's, like I said, she's struggling. So they need to make some money, and they find out that there is a serial killer that they've come across, and they do a podcast with them. So that's why it's interesting to me, because they want to do a podcast with this serial killer. I watched the first 2 episodes, and it's so, but I might give it 1 or 2 more.
What's it called again?
Based on a true story, I think is what it's called on Peacock.
Because I saw that. Yeah, I saw the thumbnail, and I was just like, well, based on what true story?
Yeah. Yeah. So like they're doing a podcast because they know this serial killer. And I think, because I haven't gotten to that point yet, because I'm only 2 episodes in, they've thrown the invite out to the guy, and they've threatened to go to the police if he doesn't do the podcast. They're going to disguise his voice, do all this stuff.
Yeah. Threaten a serial killer. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. I was like, what? Like, and like when he made the offer to him, like he was by himself with the guy. I was like, he just off you. Like, what are you talking about? But he threw a threat out there, like, you know, hey, if I don't show up, you know, all this information gets released. You know how it does in the movies, right? Like
Yeah.
if I die, a letter will go out from my lawyers, and so. But yeah, so it's so. But it's what it is, right? What else did I watch? I watched Strange New Worlds. The first episode of Strange New Worlds came out.
Oh yeah.
That was
I
good.
got to jump back on it. Like I keep seeing trailers. I'm like, man, this looks so good.
You haven't even watched the first season?
I haven't finished that. I got to the one where Ahora's like first mission. So like she's like translating what the planet's trying to tell him.
That's like the third episode.
Yeah, it's like the third episode. It wasn't that it was bad. It was real good. I forgot about it.
It is good. It is good. And this one, I mean, I'm not throwing spoilers out there, but Spock kind of has control, and he's the captain, because the captain has to go off and do something else.
Okay.
Which you don't see the captain but for maybe 5 minutes in this one. But I think I saw a preview for the next week's episode, and it's a lot more focused on the captain, and you probably won't see a lot of the crew.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got you. Like,
Yeah.
what is he doing? Here it is.
Right.
Here's the episode.
Right. Yeah. So, but no, that was good. Watching that. And then I watched Extraction 2. Oh my gosh.
Is it good?
I'm gonna tell you something, man. So I had a coworker that was like, it was kind of disappointing. And then so like I'm like 40 some odd minutes into it. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. I texted like, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't trust you.
You probably wanted some story.
I was like,
this is action.
I was like, I'm gonna call you Ryan from now on. He may not get this, but I didn't say that to him. But he was like, no, I fell asleep. And then he kind of went into it a little bit more. He was like, the acting is not that great. He's like, there's a lot of action. I'm like, what are we talking about here then? Like, what are we talking about?
That's not what we're here for.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're in for based off the first one. And I'm gonna tell you something. There is I looked at the counter, so I stopped it. Looked at the counter. There is about a 21-minute single cut frame.
Like, oh, you talking my language.
21 minutes. It's almost 21 minutes. It's short by like 18 seconds. Like where you're just like, wow.
Okay.
Going in. Like if you've seen the trailer where he's like in the prison yard, like that spans through it, but
okay.
It doesn't end in the prison yard. You know what I mean? Like
it just keeps keeps spilling over.
Almost 21 minutes. I'm like, yo, this is what I came for. This is
okay.
It. But no, I thought it was good. Again, the acting, I didn't even think the acting was bad. You know what I mean? It's just like you're not required to do much. What you want is bullets and bombs, and you get a lot of bullets and bombs. Like it was good. So for anybody that's an action fan, Extraction 2, you'll like it.
Okay.
And they do leave it open to continue the series. So just putting it out there. So but that was pretty much it. Like I said, Horizon Forbidden West is taking up more time than anything. But watch those couple things. That's about the extent of it for me, for what we've been doing. But what about you, Ryan? What you been doing? What you been up
to? So play some more Zelda. I've been real busy with work, so I got a few more hours in Zelda. So a few more hours probably means like 4. Like it feels like I only played like another hour. I probably played like 4 hours because like my perception of time in that game is totally jacked up. Like once I'm in it, I'm engrossed. So still loving it. Watched my junior, watched him beat Diablo and then keep playing it. Like it just keeps like the level, I guess it goes up to level 100. He was at like when he beat it, he was under 50. And then there's stuff after that, right? Like so every time you hit a gate, you hit 50, you hit 70, you hit 100. There's new missions and stuff. So like the game just keeps going on forever. I'm sure there's people out there who've conquered all of it, right? But we don't let him play for that long. Like he plays for extended time, but not days. Peanut bottles and stuff.
Let me ask you this, because I got a coworker that's playing it, right? And he sent me this screenshot. So in Diablo, they have this thing called hardcore players.
Yes.
You only get one life.
Yep.
There was, at the time, there was 163 people that were level 100 hardcore players. So they got to level 100 without dying at all. Because once you die, you die. That's it.
Yeah.
From what he tells me. 163. And then when it came to the other ones that played the other way, it was like a few thousand or something like that. But even then I was like this was maybe a week after the game was released. Like there were people at level 100.
People are crazy.
I'm like, how are they putting this time?
playing nonstop. Because I mean, it was like that when COD came out, like COD 4 came out. Like you had people, you see their counters, they be like, they played 24 hours. Or I'm sorry, like 24 days. You'd be like, how many hours is that? How many hours have you been playing this game? And I get it. Like I used to have marathon sessions when I was younger too, but I don't know how adults do it. I honestly can't figure out like how do you fit that amount of time in there, unless it's your job. Like if you're a streamer, like you make money by playing games, then I get that. But if you have a job and you're playing this, you must do nothing in between.
But my thing is like they did that in a week. So like the game just came out, and maybe the mechanics are the same. I haven't played Diablo 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, right? Maybe the mechanics are the same, so they're already used to it. There's nothing for them to get used to. But to get to a level 100 in a week, like even if you're getting used to the game, I figure you would have died 3 or 4 times, right? Like
Right.
and went through and did it. But yeah, it was amazing to me because I had to ask him. I was like, so what's hardcore and what's this other one? Because it was like a screenshot. It
Yeah.
came from a website or something like that. I was like, what's hardcore? He's like, that means you go through it one life. I was like, what do you mean? Because I was pretty sure I knew what he meant, but I was like, no, that can't be right.
Right.
He's like, when you die, you die. You cannot continue with that.
Yeah, I would never play that way.
Yeah,
Never. I would never play that way.
yeah, exactly.
Because I'd be so mad. Because sooner or later something's gonna get you, right?
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be new like tiers of armor and new quests. They're gonna add all that stuff in the very near future. Or if they don't, like people will get very upset, right? Because those people who've already hit the level cap in 1 week. But that's on them. Like regular people, it's going to take them several weeks, months to get there. There'll be new content by the time they get there. Yeah, I've never like I've marathoned some games, right? But they're all been short games, like Metal Gear Solid. When that thing came out, like amazing game. If you beat it in a certain amount of time, you get like a bandana that did X, or you get a weapon that did Y. So I used to go through it, but then that's like a 5 hour marathon, right? Like you played the game the first time, you might have took you like 10, 12 hours. You get real good at the game, you can get through it in 5 hours. I can't like I can't even keep my eyes open past 11 o'clock. How are y'all doing this? 11 p.m. my body shuts down. It's like, hey, we're out of here. Like I don't know what you were planning on doing with that phone in your hand. You dropping it. You slumped over. So I don't know how they do it. Like so it's the summertime. I do let my son play for a little bit longer, but even he's like, all right. So I've seen him put the controller down. Like he hit like a checkpoint or whatever. He was like, all right, I'm out. Cut it off. I'm going upstairs, do something different. But to each their own. Like it's a really good game, is what I perceive it to be. However, I will probably never play it. It's just the mechanics are just too deep for me. Can't do it. But so yeah, so Zelda, I watched that Reality Winner documentary movie, I guess like a dramatization of it. Not bad. It's like an hour and 22 minutes. And I didn't read about her story. I wanted to watch it first, and then I read about it. It's uh it's not bad. Like I think they did a really good job. Like did a really good, like, because it's a real slow burn at the beginning, but they're like, is like they'll jump from their dialogue to the transcript back to their dialogue. So they're like mirroring the people very well, but you don't see those people because it's on a tape recorder. So they're acting out what was recorded. And then they jump into not doing it so frequently. But then when they do say something that's classified, they blank everything out. Like it's kind of a cool effect. Like they scramble it, like whatever they're saying, that's because the transcript has classified information on it. It's been redacted, obviously, for the dramatization. So they'll go and say something that shouldn't be said, and like they'll just disappear up the screen. Or they'll get scrambled and then they'll start talking again. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
So when you say, so to make sure I understand what you're saying though, so like when they're playing the real audio, it's still the actors from the movie.
No, they flip to the transcript when they play the real audio. Like they'll be like, just to show you that it's like this is what was said. Like they'll be in the midst of a conversation and they'll jump to the audio recording, because at the beginning they make a good point of showing you him cutting on the recorder, and they're like tapping on the glass and they flip to the transcript and you can hear him banging on the glass and talking, and they'll flip back to him. They do that more frequently at the very beginning, and then they stop doing it so much. Like, I guess they're just trying to show you like this is authentic, because like there's some verbal pauses in there that are like weird, but that's what really happened. Like, and you figure it out later on, because there's some stuff that they're doing to get her to admit things. So you're like, dang, these dudes are trash. Like, these are the worst FBI agents I've ever seen on TV. But then it starts to make more sense why they're doing it. Like they're trying to gain that rapport with her. They're trying to get her to say certain things. And then when she starts doing it, man, she starts singing like a canary. Near the end of the movie, you just like, you know everything. You're like, oh, okay. But she's on, I think she's on parole now. Because at the end they say that they gave her 63 months. So that's 5 years, 3 months. It was the harshest sentence ever given to a leaker of information. Like no one's ever been given that much amount of time. And I think she's on parole for good behavior. So she did just shy of 5 years. And now I think it's like November or some time frame, like she'll be done and released. But it's interesting. Like I don't like, here's the thing, right? Like politics aside, like we sign contracts, we sign NDAs, things of that nature. So I never feel bad for somebody who breaches an NDA. Like you signed that, you broke that willingly. What I don't understand is how people don't ask for representation. Like First 48, this, like you see people, we've been ingrained to ask for legal assistance. You don't say anything, right? It's under the Constitution, you have the ability to remain silent, and they never do. And I'm just like, that'd be the first thing. Like, I'm a completely innocent person. Where's my lawyer at? If I know I did something wrong, where's my lawyer at? They never asked for, like, and they kept saying like, you don't have to talk to us. And then they would start talking to her, and then she would continue to talk, right? They just kept her in the loop. Like, you don't have to talk to us, but yada, yada, yada. They asked her if she wants some water, you need to use the bathroom, you want to sit down. Like, they would always keep the conversation going, even though you don't have to talk to us. And I was just like, why are you not asking for a lawyer? I don't get it.
So we have to, I mean, having never been put in that situation, right? So like maybe it's just a lot of other things going through their mind. Like they could be like, and here's the thing, she probably was going to try to play it off like I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't need a lawyer, right? It's like
You always need a lawyer.
I know, I hear you. I hear you.
Always. That's the first thing. Like somebody show, it could be the wrong person. They'd be like, are you, I don't know, Ricardo Vargas? I'd be like, nope.
Lawyer.
Like, we want to ask you some questions. Lawyer.
Like, hey, we're looking for Shannon Times. Like, we're with the FBI. Lawyer.
Lawyer. Automatic. Like, no, he's just trying to renew his clearance. No, lawyer.
Like, no. I'm here because you have to redo your clearance. It's been so many years. Lawyer. I see that I see that shield in your thing, you know, because you got to always verify they're who they say they are, right?
And they did. They were like, we're FBI agents, yada yada yada. Do you know why we're here? She was like, no. Like, that's fine. We're still good. And then as soon as they said we have a warrant to search you and your property, lawyer, she was like, okay. They never showed. They kept asking, like, this is the funny part. Like, I'm not trying to give too much away, but they kept asking, like, do you want to see it? Do you want to see it? And I was just like, why do they keep asking that question? And then finally, it's like halfway through the movie, and they're already searching her stuff. They're already in her house. And she was like, yeah, I'll look at it. And he hands it to her, and he was like, you have been yada, yada, yada. This gives us permission to search your property, blah, 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 blah. They was already doing it because at no point did she say no. She let them in the house. She let them search her stuff without ever looking at the warrant. It's amazing.
So here's the thing. Would you know what was in the warrant anyway? Like,
no, I would have said my lawyer's going to look at that.
I don't know. I don't know if you can keep them out though. So like, if they have a warrant, I don't know if you can say.
I don't think you can, but you also don't give them permission. You don't let them in the house. Like, they were like, hey, do you have a dog? Yada, yada, yada. If you do, you might want to get out the way. At no point did she say, let me see the warrant. So that way they could say, now we have permission to search your house. Instead, she invited them in the house.
So here's my thing.
It wouldn't have made a difference, but still.
But if they have a warrant, if they have a legal warrant, like, and they can come and search the premises, do they have to wait for you to say yes, come in? They're not vampires, right?
I think they have to. I think they have to at least give it to you. I think they have to at least issue it to you or whatever. Because what if they didn't have it? Like, what if they were lying the whole time? Because I don't think the warrant was there yet when they started searching her stuff. I think it was inbound.
So I've seen that on TV before, where people will get it over the phone. Like, they'll be like, hey, we got the warrant, it's on its way, and then they'll go in. But that's TV, right? Like, that just makes
I don't know. Like, I could be wrong. There might be a lawyer listening right now. Like, it doesn't make a difference. Lawyer. With, like, as soon as they said I did some kind of wrongdoing, like, automatically you flip the lawyer. Like, I'm like, I have no clue why you guys are here. I need my lawyer to be here. I don't even have a lawyer. But I would get one real quick. I'd be like, what's one of the numbers from the radio? Was it 411 pain? Like that's for people who get in accidents. I'm calling them.
Yeah.
Refer me to somebody else.
Ours over here, I'm not trying to give him free publicity or anything, but it's Franklin D. Azar. Like Frank Azar is the guy over here that's on all the commercials. And he's got like 3 offices between like Pueblo, the Springs, and Denver, I think. But that's me too. I'm like, I realize you're not a criminal defense attorney or whatever, but like,
yeah, give me one.
give me some, find somebody, you know.
But I don't know. Like I just like, and what was I guess good about it was that she does admit to everything. They show how she did it. Again, dramatization, things of that nature, and then they kind of explain why it was so bad. But they try to be unbiased, right? Like there's some bias in there because obviously, the thing is if people didn't leak stuff to journalists wouldn't have anything to report, right? And they're supposed to protect our democracy. I get all that. She signed a contract. She still breached it. And to which she was like, I mean, she understands that. And she's just like, all right. I mean, it is what it is. But it takes through the movie, they're trying to get her to explain, like, why did you do it? And then she's like, did what? And they're like, it's really, they do a really good job of slowly pulling out of her before the floodgates open up. And then she's like talking about like why she did it, yada, yada, yada. So again, I don't condone the behavior. I'm just saying you lawyer up.
So let me ask you this. Was she willfully not following the safeguards that are put in place when you're handling classified information, or did she find a loophole that just wasn't addressed and got addressed later?
They find a loophole. Like, so she's a linguist, so she's not an IT person. When you pull information down, like there's receipts. Like we know that, but I guess regular people don't understand that. Like you can't just search for something, get it, print it, and then take it to somebody. There's a trail of receipts.
That's the button everybody clicks past that brings that up that says just this system is being monitored. You know what I mean? Clicks OK.
So she I guess that she didn't think that it would there would be no attribution, right? Like she thought she could, like if they found the document, where did the document come from? Let's reverse engineer this. Let's do some forensics. This document, how'd you get it? There had to be certain that you had to hit the print button. Okay, who hit the print button on this article? And then what were the keywords used for to pull this information in? Who had access to this? Like it was like they already had all the information walking in. They just needed her to explain to them like you did it, and then why? Why'd you do it? And I think that was the best part of the movie was trying to get that information out of her. But like at the very beginning, you're just like, man, everybody here is a doofus. And then as it progresses, you're like, oh man, they're really good. They had me fooled.
Yeah,
that's why you lawyer up.
Yeah. Your lawyer knows these tricks as the FBI is playing the long game, right?
Yeah. But I thought it was like for a minute and 22 minutes, I think they kept it pretty concise and they made it entertaining. So I'll definitely say check it out. But at the end of the day,
so if I'm gonna watch it, how many bullets are flying in this? That's what I need to know. Oh no,
there's no action. So she had 2 Middle Eastern languages under her belt. She was Air Force, and then she got out to be a contractor. So there's guns in it because she like any veteran, she has several guns in her house that are like, hey, do you have any firearms? Yada yada yada. You have any pets? Yada yada yada. She had a pink AR, which was hilarious. But it was factual too. Like they show pictures, like because they'll flip from the character in the dramatization to the actual lady. So they show her firing her pink AR and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, there's no action in it. It's more suspense on like how are they pulling this information out of her.
I might give it a shot. I mean, you said it's a slow burn though, so that's the part that kind of worries me.
Like, yeah, like the first 10, 15 minutes, you're just like, man, these dudes are terrible. And then it starts to kind of as they start to pull threads, it starts to unravel. Like, oh, okay, I get why they were acting that way. That's why you lawyer up, man. Like she thought that they were, oh, these are my friends. No, they're not your friends. Not at all. Like you still did something wrong. She did the time or whatever, or she's currently doing the time. And then they kind of explain how so basically it's like the fight between what should be classified and like how again, not to go into politics, but they kind of present it like, yeah, she was wrong for releasing information, but should this information have been classified to begin with, right? So I read an article about it, and they kind of go back and forth how they can punish people who sign NDAs, but nobody ever punishes the government for overclassifying information potentially.
But
But it
that's
doesn't matter.
yeah, that's not how that works, right? So
Yeah,
like you don't unless you were the original classification authority, unless you're the OCA, you don't get to determine what should or should not be
right.
classified.
And I think that's why you'll really enjoy it, because it's definitely in your wheelhouse. Because we worked around classified for decades or whatever. But yeah, people just don't don't break your NDA, but B, if the FBI knocks on your door, ask for a lawyer. That's the rule. Two rules is that I learned from this. Like, I don't know, like, and it's the same thing. First 48, like how we watch the screen, like these dudes will confess to killing people, which is terrible, and like it's a tragic loss of life for no reason. Like usually the reason is dumb. And you're like, why you just ended somebody's life over something really really dumb? But at what point did you decide to not ask for a lawyer? Because this should be ingrained in you. You probably watched the first 48. Now you want it. Ask for a lawyer. I don't get it. I don't know, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I watched that, and then I wanted to watch. I put it up. I was going to watch either Dungeons and Dragons or I was going to watch Avatar because it's out now. And I was like, I'm going to pick one of these, and I was hooking the cable back up because we had the floors done, so I had to remove all electronics. So I was putting all electronics back, and when I put it back on, the movie that popped up was oh man, what was it? It just fell right out of my head. Fifth Element was on. I don't change the channel when the Fifth Element comes on. That is a classic. So
Yes.
watch the Fifth Element all the way through again for probably the 1,000th time.
I do the same thing.
Like if it's on, I gotta watch it.
I like it. I even had like it is streaming on one of the services that I have. I know it is, but like if I bring up Hulu Live and like it's playing with like stuff removed from it, I just can't go from it and go to the streaming one. Like, yeah, I want to watch this. Let me go to the streaming one that has it. No, I gotta watch it and just wait for the advertisements and then keep. I don't know
Yeah,
why. I don't know why.
I don't know. And that movie shouldn't work, but it does on so many levels. That movie should have not come together. Because remember, like I think we had a conversation. Prince was supposed to play the comedic part, right? So instead of Chris Tucker, he's supposed to be Prince.
Ruby Red.
Yeah, Ruby Red. Yep, that's supposed to be Prince. Like all the outfits were made for him, and all the like the whole role was made for him,
The
and he didn't want to do
eccentricity
it.
of it. Yeah, the eccentricity of it leads to Prince. Yeah, like
Yeah,
his velvet bodysuit he's wearing, all that. You know what I mean?
yeah. I guess for whatever reason, he's just like, it's not the role for me. He didn't take it, so they cast Chris Tucker, and it just works. I don't know how, but I had was his Tiny Tiny Lister.
Lister, yeah.
Yeah, Tiny Lister, Debo. Debo was the president, and he played the bad guy, but he was the president in this one. They had obviously Bruce Willis back in his I wouldn't say it wasn't at the peak of his career, but it was still definitely up there. Um, and then Mila Jovovich, who is like she's still in all these crazy movies, like Resident Evils, and she did another one, Monster Hunter, which I have not watched, but Monster Hunter, she's in that one too. Like she will play these ridiculous characters in real life. And then obviously her husband directs all the movies. So
Right.
he's just like, who could play this heroine? My wife. And she does. And it was like, okay. Like but this was, I think this was my favorite movie where they're in it, to be honest with you. This and the first Resident Evil.
I would say this is my favorite with her in it. And the thing is, she doesn't even speak but maybe 10 lines.
Yeah,
And
it's like multipass.
Yeah, Lilo Dallas multipass. Like it's hilarious.
Corbin Dallas.
Lilo Dallas multipass. She didn't even put a complete sentence together until the very end when she's asking about love. It's like, that's when you get it all together. Again, she's learning, right? Like she doesn't know any of that. She learns it all.
And she's learning from the internet. Like the internet is what fed her all the information. Like that could have went so wrong.
Yes, especially in this day and age. She'd been throwing up Nazi salutes and all that. Like it'd been crazy. But
right.
Gary Oldman was Zorg.
Oh yeah.
Plays Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah,
In the
it's true.
Batman. Yeah, he's Zorg. Yeah, so like, yeah, it's got a lot of people in it that you're like, oh yeah, this person, this person, this person.
Yeah, and so it's a classic. So, but what came on after that, right? So again, I'm watching like TNT or something like that. Like, why am I watching it on real cable? Like, yuck, right? Snobs over here. Like, why am I not streaming this? But what came on immediately after? Judge Dredd. I have not watched Judge Dredd in a very long time.
Stallone one or
Stallone Judge Dredd.
okay, Urban.
Like,
Okay,
I am the law.
I am the law. Yeah, I am the law. You
I
got
had to watch it.
sideways.
I had to watch it. So that's what I want to watch in Reality Winner, and then Fifth Element, and then Judge Dredd. So I didn't make much progress this week. All these brand new movies came out. I didn't watch any of them.
So let me ask you this then. So if you had to pick between Avatar and Dungeons and Dragons, what would be your choice this week if you're gonna watch
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons?
I'm going to watch Avatar. I'm just not in the Avatar mindset. Like I gotta be ready to be wowed by graphics and Fern Gully Part 2, right? Like it's literally Fern Gully over and over again. Like I get it. I get the whole, the environment and what have you, but I heard this one's a little bit deeper than the first one. But watching the trailer, it looks like they just, okay, it's war, but now they're in the water, right? It's like, I'm gonna watch it because it's gonna be beautiful, but I just gotta be in that mindset. Like, okay, I want to watch a showcase movie. Like, this is why I bought all this AV stuff, is to watch this. But I'll probably watch Extraction too. That's probably what I'll watch.
I Dungeons and Dragons is good. I'm gonna tell you that. But if you just want to see stuff blow up in a almost 21-minute single, I don't even know what you call it, single cut frame, single non-cut frame. I don't know what you call it.
Something like that.
I was telling myself as it was going on, I was like, have I seen a cut? Like as it's going through, I'm like, I haven't seen a cut. Like it's been continual. You know what I mean?
Right. And I know they can fake that stuff, but I don't think they did in this one. Like they faked it in it's a war movie that came out that had one. It's like the whole movie is in one cut.
Dunkirk.
Yeah, Dunkirk. So Dunkirk is not actually one cut, but the way that they did it, I forget. I watched like the making of. It looks like one cut, so it's good enough, right? But to ask to do an entire movie in one cut is impossible. Like something's going to happen. The lighting's going to change. Someone's going to sneeze in the background. Like something's going to happen. But they fake it to they go out of their way to fake it very realistically. But like Children of Men was one cut. Ong Bak has a scene, I want to say that's one cut. It's like 8 minutes of him just beating people up on stairs. I think John Wick 4 has one cut, but I haven't seen it yet. I think they said there is a one cut shot in there.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love when they do that. Book Eli during the shootout in the house. That's one cut, but I think it's faked one cut. Because they take the camera and they go through. I want to say.
Are you talking about in the bar?
No, when they're in the house. Remember the abandoned house with the thing that was in the TV, and they had the shootout, and like the camera is just spinning through the scene. I think that one's fake though, only because like I don't remember it, but like somehow the camera goes through the door. I don't know if it's through a bullet hole or something like that, but something that would be impossible to do. But for the most part, it's one cut. So I just love the technique.
Yeah. Oh, it plays very well here. Because even though it's not, so like, even though it is not constantly on the same person, like, it's like you can see where they take the camera and just when they move to the other person, they just back up a little bit and then follow this way.
Okay.
And then the other person will come back into it. Like, it's cool. Almost 20 minutes.
That's a long time. But yeah, I'm definitely I might watch that today actually. It might be my because like behind the curtain, we're recording everything on Sunday, right? Father's Day. It might be my Father's Day movie.
There you go.
Watch Extraction too. But I want to attribute the one thing. So I said a listener had heard us make the Eddie Murphy joke. His name is Jonathan. So I want to make sure I put his name out there, right? Shout people out who because I like when people give us articles. I like when people give us suggestions on who to bring on the show. I like when people catch the little jokes. So definitely shout them out. So appreciate you for listening and for picking up on that. was like, how did he know? He's got to be around the same age grouping, right? To catch that one. So, but aside from that, man, I think today I'm gonna try to relax, and then tomorrow, in real time, is Juneteenth, so try to chill for that one too. So actually take a break during the break for the first time. So that's the goal. But yeah, aside from all those things, I think, yeah, like I said, I'll probably try to watch Extraction 2, and maybe, nah, I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna say like maybe try to pick up Horizon, but I'm gonna wait till Zelda's over. I'm going to play Horizon. It's gonna happen, especially because it's free, right? Or free-ish, right? I paid for a service, now I get it free, but whatever. Um, oh, and what we were supposed to see this week was The Flash, but neither one of us saw it. No one took that bullet. Uh, but we heard from Levon, that it's just okay.
That's disappointing,
He said
dude.
all right. He said it's all right. So I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, but like the way it has been hyped up. So like back in, what was it, April, they did that showing at, I don't remember if it was Comic-Con or whatever. People were just like, this is one of the best things. And then you had,
Yeah. You even had celebrities. You had Stephen
Stephen
King, who
King.
doesn't really like superhero movies. So maybe Levon's harsh on it.
Could
Maybe it
be.
is a B plus, A minus.
Or maybe, again, you got to remember Stephen King's an author, right? So like he likes stuff to drag out for 400 pages. You know what I mean? So for
Yeah.
him,
I really enjoy Stephen
great.
King books though. Pet Cemetery,
Not a fan.
nah.
No, no, not a fan.
The Outsider, what's another one? It's another King classic. I didn't read The Gunslinger. And I heard the movie was terrible. So
Was the movie was Dark Tower, wasn't it, or something like that? With
that's the
Idris Elba?
series. Yeah, I think the
Oh,
first
okay.
book was The Gunslinger or whatever, and they
Oh,
tried to make the movie, and it didn't really jump off too well. But I've liked other stuff, like I said, Pet Cemetery.
it.
Was it It? It's It, right? That's Stephen King as well, with the
Yeah,
clown.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, the book was way better than the movie. There's a few King classics out there, right? So The Last Stand, I think it's called The Last Stand. I
Can't
don't
be
know.
too classic if you don't remember the name, Ryan. Can't be too.
Well, I don't really read
You
nowadays.
audio booked it.
I audiobooked it, right? So I don't remember titles all like that, but I read that one. So I think it was called The Last Stand or something like that. It's again, like it's up my alley, right? It's a post-apocalyptic type movie, like the world's ending, some biblical implications in there as well. They made a TV show. It's on Peacock. I've not watched it yet, but Whoopi Goldberg is in it. So I might have to check that one out. But there's a lot. I can't think of all of them right now, but King has some classics in there. A more I remember all the George Orwell books though, like the 1984 and Animal Farm and stuff like that. Time Machine. I think it's Orson Welles. Time Machine. But I don't know. I think this episode is done. We're talking about book titles. Definitely continue to tune in. So again, Monday, Tuesday are topics. Wednesday is our discussion. On Thursdays, sometimes we have interviews. I have one coming up in June, and we have some special guests on the other side of Firewall at the end of June. And then I have another interview, I think, in July. So it's starting to line up. People are interested. Fan base is getting bigger. So we appreciate you guys liking and listening and sharing and all that good stuff. So please continue to do all the above. Go to websites that go by our name. And then you can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and Twitter. Stay safe, stay secure.